The jungle screamed with blaster fire. Sergeant Kai Brennan pressed his back against the massive trunk of a spiral-bark tree, feeling the heat signatures of his squad members wink out one by one on his tactical display. The ambush had come from nowhere, indigenous hostiles with weapons that shouldn't have existed on this backwater world. Phoenix team, sound off. His voice cracked through the calm static, but only silence answered. A sharp pain lanced through his left shoulder. Kai spun, firing his pulse rifle at the retreating shadow, but his vision already blurred at the edges. He looked down to see a bone dart protruding from his tactical vest, its barbed tip glistening with an oily, green substance. Neurotoxin, he whispered, recognizing the symptoms from his biochemical warfare training. His fingers tingled, then went numb. The rifle slipped from his grasp. Kai stumbled deeper into the alien forest, his legs growing heavier with each step. The trees here were different, taller, with luminescent bark that pulsed like a heartbeat. Strange flowers bloomed in impossible colors, releasing spores that danced in the filtered sunlight. His tactical computer flickered and died, leaving him truly alone. The toxin worked fast. His heartbeat thundered in his ears as his nervous system began shutting down. 20 minutes, maybe less, before it reached his brain. He'd seen what happened to soldiers who died from native poisons, the convulsions, the screaming, the madness. Through his failing vision, he glimpsed a clearing ahead. Not natural, the trees formed a perfect circle, their branches interwoven like a living cathedral. In the center, a figure waited. She was tall and graceful, with pale purple skin that seemed to glow in the dappled light. Dark, curly hair framed a face that was undeniably alien yet hauntingly beautiful. She wore flowing robes of deep blue fabric that moved like water, and her large, violet eyes watched him with neither fear nor surprise. Kai collapsed at the edge of the glade, his vision tunneling. The woman approached slowly, her movements deliberate and calm. When she knelt beside him, he caught her scent, something like cinnamon and starlight. "You are dying," she said, her voice carrying a musical quality that resonated in his bones. "The corvette poison moves through your bloodstream like liquid fire." "Who?" Kai's voice was barely a whisper. "Who are you?" "I am Saria of the Valari," she replied, her cool fingers touching his fevered forehead. "And you, human warrior, have wandered into sacred ground at the hour of your greatest need." Her touch sent strange sensations through his failing nervous system, not pain, but something deeper. Hope. "Can you?" He struggled to form words. "Can you help me?" Saria's expression grew solemn. "Perhaps. But the price of such healing is greater than you know." Saria's violet eyes studied Kai's face as the toxin spread through his system. His skin had taken on a grayish pallor, and tremors racked his powerful frame. She could see the poison's dark veins threading beneath his flesh like corrupted rivers. "The corvette venom will reach your brain within minutes," she said softly, her fingers tracing symbols in the air above his chest. "Your people's medicine cannot cure this. Only we Valari possess the antidote." Kai's breathing grew labored. "Then, please. It is not so simple." Saria's voice carried ancient weight. "What you ask requires the sharing of Thesai, our life essence. It is sacred, never given to outsiders. The punishment for such transgression is exile, or death." Despite his condition, Kai tried to push himself up. "I won't force you. Peace, warrior." Her touch eased him back down. "I sense something in you, something that calls to my healer's heart. But if we do this, there can be no going back. The bond formed through Thesai runs deeper than your people understand." The toxin's fire spread through Kai's chest, making each breath agony. What do you need me to do?" Saria's cheeks flushed a deeper purple. "The essence must be shared in the most intimate way possible. You must trust me completely, surrender all control." She paused, her gaze steady. "And you must close your eyes. No outsider has ever witnessed our healing mysteries. Kai's vision blurred as convulsions began. Through the haze of pain, he saw something in her expression, not just duty, but genuine care. Maybe even desire. "I trust you," he whispered. Surya nodded solemnly and began unfastening her robes. The fabric fell away, revealing skin that seemed to shimmer with inner light. Strange, beautiful patterns marked her body, not tattoos, but natural bioluminescent designs that pulsed with her heartbeat. "Close your eyes now," she commanded gently. "And no matter what you feel, do not open them until I say." Kai obeyed, surrendering to darkness as he felt her warm body settle over him. Her hands found his face, fingers tracing his jawline with surprising tenderness. "The Thesai flows through touch," she murmured, her breath warm against his ear. "But also through breath, through the sharing of life itself." Her lips met his, and suddenly the world exploded into sensation. It wasn't just a kiss, it was communion. He felt her essence flowing into him, warm and electric, chasing away the poison's cold grip. The healing power moved through every cell, every nerve, rewriting his very biology. But beneath the miraculous cure, something deeper stirred. A connection unlike anything he'd ever experienced, intimate and profound. He could feel her heartbeat synchronizing with his, her breath becoming his breath. When she finally pulled away, Kai's eyes fluttered open despite her command. For just an instant, he saw her face transformed, glowing with ethereal beauty, her eyes blazing with power and something that looked like love. "You looked," she whispered, but there was no anger in her voice. Only wonder. The healing continued for hours, though time seemed meaningless in the sacred glade. Surya's touch had evolved from clinical necessity to something far more profound. Each caress of her luminescent skin against his drove away more of the toxin while igniting fires of a different kind. "The Thesai responds to emotion," she explained softly, her fingers tracing the patterns where poison had once flowed. "The deeper the connection, the more complete the healing." Kai's strength returned gradually, but he found himself reluctant to move away from her embrace. Her alien beauty captivated him, the way starlight seemed to dance beneath her purple skin, how her curly hair caught the filtered sunlight like a dark halo. "Is this normal?" he asked, his voice rough with emotion. "This feeling between us?" Surya's eyes met his, vulnerability flickering in their violet depths. "No. The Thesai creates bonds, but not like this. What flows between us is..." She paused, searching for words. "It is as forbidden as it is beautiful." Her confession broke something loose in Kai's chest. Despite every regulation, every barrier between their species, he couldn't deny what he felt. When she leaned down to check his pulse, he caught her face in his hands. "Surya," he whispered, and she closed her eyes at the sound of her name on his lips. "We should not," she breathed, even as she leaned into his touch. "My people, your people, they would never understand." "Then let's not think about them," Kai said, pulling her closer. "Just us. Just this moment." Their second kiss was different, not healing, but hungry. Desperate. She tasted like exotic spices and starlight, her soft moans vibrating against his mouth as their bodies pressed together. The bioluminescent patterns on her skin blazed brighter, responding to her arousal. "You are beautiful," he murmured against her throat, feeling her pulse flutter beneath his lips. "Impossible and perfect." Her hands explored his chest, tracing old scars with reverent fingers. "Your body tells stories of battle," she said. "But your eyes, they speak of loneliness that mirrors my own." They moved together with increasing urgency, two souls finding solace in the most unlikely place. Her otherworldly grace complemented his human strength, creating a harmony that transcended species. Every touch sent ripples of pleasure through their psychic connection, doubling the sensation. When they finally joined completely, Surya cried out in a language Kai didn't recognize, her body arching beneath him as waves of shared ecstasy crashed over them both. The very air around them seemed to shimmer with their combined life force. Later, as they lay entwined in the afterglow, Saria traced idle patterns on his chest. The bond is complete now, she said quietly. I can feel your heartbeat as my own. Is that why you saved me? Kai asked, stroking her hair. Because you felt this connection. She was quiet for a long moment. Perhaps. Or perhaps I simply could not bear to watch someone die when I had the power to prevent it. Her voice grew sad. But now we both face consequences neither of us anticipated. As if summoned by her words, a deep horn sounded in the distance, alien, mournful, and far too close. They come, Saria whispered, fear creeping into her voice. The Valari Seekers. Someone has reported the forbidden healing. Kai sat up, his soldier's instincts flaring to life. Who? It matters not. We must run, or they will take me to face judgment. She began gathering her robes, her movements swift and efficient. The penalty for sharing Thesai with an outsider is death. The alien horns grew closer, their haunting melody weaving through the jungle like a funeral dirge. Saria moved with practiced efficiency, gathering supplies from hidden caches around the glade while Kai checked his recovered equipment. How long do we have? He asked, slipping into his tactical harness. Not long. The Seekers can track the Thesai residue. She paused, her expression pained. Kai, you must understand, if they take me, they will not simply execute me. They will drain my life essence slowly, using it to power their own healing abilities. It is considered fitting justice. Rage flared in Kai's chest, followed by fierce protectiveness. That's not happening. We get you out of here, find somewhere safe. There is nowhere safe. Saria's composure cracked. I have violated our most sacred law. There is no sanctuary for one such as I. Kai gripped her shoulders, forcing her to meet his eyes. Listen to me. I've been fighting impossible odds my entire military career. Nowhere safe is just another tactical challenge. Despite her fear, she smiled. You would truly risk everything for me. We have known each other mere hours. Some connections transcend time, he said, echoing her earlier words. You saved my life. Now let me save yours. The first seeker emerged from the tree-line as they prepared to flee, a tall, imposing figure in ceremonial armor that seemed grown rather than forged. His skin was darker purple than Saria's, marked with silver ritual scars, and his eyes blazed with righteous fury. Saria of the Moonwell clan, his voice boomed across the glade. You will submit to judgment for your crimes against the sacred order. I will not, she replied, standing straighter. I chose to save a life. I regret nothing. More seekers materialized from the jungle, 6 in total, moving with predatory grace. Their bioorganic weapons hummed with lethal energy. The human dies as well, the leader declared. His contamination cannot be allowed to spread. Over my dead body, Kai growled, raising his pulse rifle. That can be arranged, the seeker replied coldly. The battle erupted in chaotic violence. Kai's military training took over as he laid down covering fire, his shots forcing the seekers to scatter. But their weapons were unlike anything he'd faced, energy that bent through the air like living things, seeking targets with unnatural intelligence. Saria fought beside him, her healing knowledge turned to deadly purpose. She knew exactly where to strike to disable her own people, though Kai could see the cost in her eyes with each blow. This way, she called, leading him toward a hidden path. They ran through the alien forest, branches whipping at their faces as pursuit thundered behind them. The seekers' horns called out their position, coordinating the hunt with military precision. There. Saria pointed to a cliff face ahead. The old mining tunnels. If we can reach them. An energy blast caught her in the shoulder, spinning her around. She stumbled, crying out in pain as purple blood flowed down her arm. Saria. Kai caught her as she fell, his heart clenching. The wound was bad, the alien weapon had burned through flesh and bone. I can heal it, she gasped, but I need time. You'll have it. Kai's voice turned deadly calm. He helped her into the shelter of a massive root system, then turned to face their pursuers. Stay here. Don't come out no matter what you hear. Kai, no. I love you, he said simply, the words coming easier than he'd expected. Whatever happens, remember that. He stepped out to meet the Seekers, his weapon ready. 6 against 1. He'd faced worse odds. The lead Seeker smiled coldly. Surrender, human. Your death need not be prolonged. Counter-offer, Kai replied, taking aim. Go to hell. The mining tunnels became a maze of running battles and desperate escapes. Kai's guerrilla tactics frustrated the Seekers, but he couldn't shake them entirely. Every time he thought they'd found safety, the alien hunters would appear again, their bioweapons lighting up the darkness. Saria's wound had healed, but the effort had drained her. She leaned heavily against him as they caught their breath in a deep cavern. They will never stop, she said quietly. As long as I live, I am an abomination to them. Don't talk like that. Kai checked his ammunition, running low. We'll find another way. There is no other way. Her voice carried resignation. Unless. Unless what? Saria's eyes brightened with desperate hope. The old stories speak of a ritual, the Kethmiran. A bonding so complete it creates a new kind of being, neither fully human nor Valari. If we could achieve such a union, they'd have to recognize us as something beyond their laws, Kai finished. What does this ritual involve? Complete surrender of self to the other. Mind, body, soul, everything shared until the boundaries disappear. She touched his face gently. But it has never been attempted between species. It could kill us both. Kai considered this, weighing their options. The sound of approaching Seekers made the choice for him. Do it, he said. If we're going to die anyway, let's die as one. They came together in the darkness of the cavern, their bodies intertwining as Saria began the ancient ritual. Her voice rose in harmonic frequencies that resonated in his bones, calling up powers older than civilization. The Kethmiran was unlike anything Kai had ever imagined. It wasn't just physical union, it was the complete merger of two souls. He felt his consciousness expanding, taking in her memories, her emotions, her very essence. In return, she experienced his life through his eyes, understanding him in ways no one ever had. Their combined life force blazed like a star, visible even to the Seekers as they finally cornered them. But when the alien hunters saw what the humans and Valari had become, they stopped in shock. Kai and Saria stood as one being, still individual, but connected by bonds of energy that crackled between them. Their eyes glowed with shared power, and their voices harmonized when they spoke. You cannot judge what you cannot understand, they said in unison. We are beyond your law now. The lead Seeker stepped forward, his weapon wavering. Impossible. The Kethmiran is legend. All legends begin with truth, Saria replied, her voice carrying new authority. I have not violated our laws, I have transcended them. And I'll fight anyone who says otherwise, Kai added, his tactical systems now enhanced by her psychic abilities. The Seekers found themselves facing something unprecedented, a warrior healer whose powers complemented each other perfectly. When they finally attacked, they discovered that their prey had become their superior. The battle was swift and decisive. Kai's military training, amplified by Saria's healing knowledge and psychic abilities, made him nearly unstoppable. She could anticipate their attacks through biological intuition while he executed perfect countermoves. When the smoke cleared, the Seekers lay defeated but not dead. Saria's influence had tempered Kai's killing instincts with mercy. Returned to the council, they commanded the survivors. Tell them a new age has begun. The boundaries between species are ending. Later, as they stood together watching the alien sunrise, Kai marveled at the completeness of their bond. He could feel her thoughts, her emotions, her very heartbeat as part of himself. Do you regret it? Saria asked, though she already knew the answer through their connection. Never, he replied, pulling her close. You saved my life twice now, once from poison, once from loneliness. And you saved mine from meaningless tradition, she said, smiling. Together, we are something new. Something beautiful. Their kiss tasted of starlight and possibility, the beginning of a love that would reshape both their worlds. Around them, the jungle whispered with new hope, as if the very planet approved of their union. In the distance, ships from both human and Valari fleets were already converging on their position. But Kai and Saria felt no fear, they had each other, and love had made them stronger than any force in the galaxy. The age of separation was ending. The age of unity had begun. The end.